Welcome to the JP8 Report. This is James Pierce with the JP8 Report, episode 268, SecWar Orders Inquiry. How y'all doing today? Hey, everyone's getting ready. I know a lot of people are about getting on the road. I just was watching the news a little while ago, and they were having a report about good times to travel and stuff. So if you wasn't on the road within about an hour ago, with about 11 a.m., you're hurting. Okay. Let's see. I gotta adjust this just a little bit. Aha. I got a cat that wants to be famous. Okay. So, yeah, welcome to the JPA report. And then, so today we're going to go over a few. So I'm not going to do any podcast. Obviously, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. So I'm going to take a break on that. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days worth of America 250 stuff I'm going to do this morning, and then I'm going to do some headlines and some news, depending on how long this all takes and stuff. All right, and then after I get done here, I got to go pick up our Thanksgiving dinner. We have a tradition in our family where don't shoot the messenger, but we've always for like the last 6 years ordered Cracker Barrel Thanksgivings, and we like to do it. I'm glad they fixed their mess that they were about to endeavor on, or we'd be cooking our own Thanksgiving again. But yeah, so I got to leave and go pick it up, and then it's called heat and serve. So, but we like doing it, and this would be pretty cool. So, this is the last Thanksgiving that one of my daughters, my baby Rose, her and her husband got to be at Fort Campbell by the 20th of January. So we're going to have some time this month and over Christmas to spend with them before they take off. I know it's only a 12-hour drive, but it's still a third of the way across the country. So here we go. Welcome to the JPA report. If you're watching, please, whether it be on video demand or live, please click that follow button and follow the JPA report. I have 99 followers. I'm looking for that elusive 100th follower, but I'll get it. And then please click that like button, that thumbs up, and then share if you can. All right. And then we simulcast from here to Facebook and X, and we're trying to do it on YouTube right now. But on YouTube, you got to have 50 subscribers before they allow you to do live. I have like 13 or 14, something like that. But so if you can, go to YouTube to the JP8 report. It's called the JP8 Report 67. That's the channel name. And just subscribe to it and then bail on it. Okay. I don't like ScrewTube anyway, unless I'm looking for a how-to video or something. But that's another matter. But I'm trying to get the word out about the JPA report. Been doing it for a while. I'm trying to expand it back out. All right, and the only way to do that is expand your audience. So spread the word. Okay, so JP8 report, America 250 on the 26th of November. I have a letter from Alexander Hamilton to John Jay. I take the liberty to trouble you with some remarks on a matter which to me appears of not a little importance, doubting not that you will use your influence in Congress to procure a remedy for the evil I shall mention. If you think the considerations I shall urge are of that weight they seem, in my judgment, to possess, you will probably, ere this reaches you, have heard of the late incursion made in this city by a number of horsemen from New England under the command of Captain Sears, who took away Mr. Rivington's types and Corps 2 or 2. Though I am fully sensible how dangerous, pernicious Rivington's press has been, and how detestable the character of the man is in every respect, yet I cannot help disapproving and condemning this step. In times of such commotion as the present, while the passions of men are worked up to an uncommon pitch, there is a great danger of fatal extremes. The same state of the passions which fits the multitude, which have not a sufficient stock of reason and knowledge to guide them for opposition to tyranny and oppression, very naturally leads them to a contempt and disregard of all authority. The due medium is hardly to be found among the more intelligent. It is almost impossible among the unthinking populace, when the minds of these are loosed from their attachment to ancient establishments and courses. They seem to grow giddy, and are apt more or less to run into anarchy. These principles, too true in themselves and confirmed to me both by reading and my own experience, deserve extreme the attention of those who have the direction of public affairs. In such tempestuous times, it requires the greatest skill in the political pilots to keep men steady with proper bounds, on which account I am always more or less alarmed at everything which is done of mere will and pleasure, without any proper authority. Irregularities, I know, are to be expected, but they are nevertheless dangerous and ought to be checked by the prudent and moderate mean. From these general maxims, I disapprove of the interruption in question as serving to cherish a spirit of disorder at a season when men are prone to it themselves. The Old English is hard to read sometimes. Moreover, New England is very populous and powerful. It is not safe to trust in the virtue of any people. Such proceedings will serve to produce and encourage a spirit of encroachment and arrogance in them. I like not to see potent neighbors indulged in the practice of making inroads at pleasure into this or any other province. You will know too, sir, that the antipathies and prejudices have long subsisted between this province and New England. To this may be attributed a principal part of the disaffection now prevalent among us. Measures of the present nature, however they may be immediate, and will secretly revive and increase those ancient animosities which, though smothered for a while, will break out when there is a favorable opportunity. Besides this, men coming from a neighboring province to chastise the notorious friends of the ministry here will hold up an ideal to our enemies not very advantageous to our affairs. They will imagine that the New Yorkers are totally, or a majority of them, disaffected to the American cause, which makes the interproposal of the neighbors necessary, or that such violences will breed differences, and effect that which they have been so eagerly wishing, a division and quarreling among ourselves. Everything of such an aspect must encourage their hopes. Upon the whole, the measure is condemned by all the cautious and prudent among the Whigs, and will evidently be productive in secret jealousy and ill will if a stop is not put to the things of the kind of this for the future. Of the good purposes that could be expected from such a step will be answered, and many ill consequences will be prevented if your body gently interposes a check for the future. Rivington will be intimidated, and the Tories will be convinced that all the other colonies will not tamely see the general cause betrayed by the Yorkers. Now we know it's New York versus New England. A favorable idea will be impressed upon your justice and partiality in discouraging the encroachments of any one province on another, and the apprehensions of prudent men respecting the ill efforts of an ungoverned spirit in the people of New England will be quieted. Believe me, sir, it is a matter of consequence and deserves serious attention. The Tories, it is objected by some of the growing insolent and clamorous, it is necessary to repress and overawe them. There is a truth in this, but the present remedy is a bad one. Let your body station in different parts of the province most tainted with the ministerial infection, a few regiments of troops raised in Philadelphia, the Jerseys, or any other province except New England. These will suffice to strengthen and support the Whigs, who are still, I flatter myself, a large majority, and still suppress the efforts of the Tories. The pretense for this would be plausible. There is no knowing how soon the ministry may make an attempt upon New York. There is a reason to believe they will not be long before they turn their attention to it. In this there is some order and regularity, and no grounds to alarm to our friends. I am, sir, with great esteem, your most humble servant, Alexander Hamilton. All right, so that was a letter to John Jay expressing the differences and what stuff can happen between New York and New England. The famous Alexander Hamilton. Wow. Okay, so the next is the 27th of November, 1775, a letter from General Washington to Lieutenant Colonel Joseph Reed. All right. Dear sir, your letter of the 16th by post now lies before me. I thank you for the attention paid to my memorandums. The arrival of money will be an agreeable circumstance. I recollect no occurrence of moment since my last, except the taking possession of Cobble Hill on Wednesday night. This, to my great surprise, we did, and have worked on ever since, without receiving a single shot from Bunker's Hill. The ship, the floating batteries, what all this means we know not, unless some capital stroke is mediating. I have caused 2.5 moon batteries to be thrown up for occasional use between Litchmore's Point and the mouth of the Cambridge River, and another work on the causey going on the Litchmore's prior point to command the pass and rake the little rivulet which runs by it to Patterson's Fort. Besides these, I have been and marked about 3 places between Sewell's Point and our lines on the Roxbury Neck for works to be thrown up and occasionally manned in the case of a sortie when the bay gets froze. Oh, yeah, because it's almost wintertime. By order of General Howe, 300 of the poor inhabitants of Boston were landed on Saturday last at Point Shirley, destitute almost on everything. The instant I got notice, I informed a committee of council thereof that proper care might be taken of them. Yesterday in the evening, I received information that one of them was dead and two more expiring, and a whole in the most miserable and piteous condition. I have ordered provision to them till they can be removed, but I am under dreadful apprehension of their communicating the smallpox as it is rife in Boston. I have forbid any of them coming into this place on that account. A ship well fraught with ordnance and ordnance stores and in missing and with gives great uneasiness in Boston. Her convoy has been a fortnight. I have ordered the armed vessels to keep a good look out for her. The same reasons which restrained you from writing fully also prevent me. I shall therefore only add that I am, Sir, your affectionate humble servant, General George Washington. And then there's a P.S. If any wagon should be coming this way, pray order a good quality of writing paper and the headquarters and a sealing wax. I guess supplies were getting kind of scarce. All right, next is the 28th of November, 1775. And it is an overview of what happened that day. Okay, so on the 28th of November, the Second Continental Congress meeting in Philadelphia during the American Revolution took several significant actions related to the newly forming American naval and marine forces. And key events on this day was adoption of the Navy rules and regulations. The Congress adopted the first comprehensive rules for the governance and discipline of the Navy of the United Colonies of North America. These regulations, largely authored by John Adams, outlined expected conduct for officers and crew, specified punishments for offenses like drunkenness and blasphemy, and mandated provisions such as divine services aboard ships. And then commissioning the first Marine officer, Samuel Nicholas, which we already know about that, a prominent citizen and owner of a Philadelphia tavern, was commissioned as a captain in the Marines. He was tasked with raising a force of Marines that Congress had authorized in an early resolution on November 10th. Nicholas remained the senior Marine officer throughout the Revolution and is considered the first commandant of the Marine Corps. And then while the process of establishing the Continental Navy began with initial actions in October 1775, the November 28th resolution, which provided for a full line of officers, their pay, a complete set of naval regulations, is considered by some historians as the date the Congress fully committed itself to the creation and maintenance of a formal naval establishment, which only lasted until 1784, and then there was a 10-year hiatus, and it was reestablished in 1794, if you didn't know that. All right, so that was for the 28th of November. All right, so November 29th, 1775. So on that day, the Continental Congress formed a committee of conduct for clandestine communications with foreign allies, a crucial step in seeking support for the American cause. Early members of the committee was Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Harrison, Thomas Johnson, John Dickinson, John Jay, and Robert Morris. Arthur Lee was appointed as the committee's first European agent tasked with gathering intelligence about sympathy for the revolution in Europe. So he took a boat to Europe, traveled around, and gauged our support. And then Colonel William Woodford positioned his troops at Great Bridge in Virginia to prevent the British forces from capturing the Patriot Supply Depot at Suffolk. And that led to December 9th battle, which we'll get to in about 2 weeks. All right. So that was November 29th, 1775. All right. And then November 30th, 1775. There's a letter from General Washington to John Hancock. Sir, I have had the honor to write you the 28th instant on the day of the 28th by Captain Joseph Bluer last evening. I received the agreeable account of the schooner Lee. That's a ship commanded by Captain Manley, having taken and carried into Cape Ann a large brigantine, another ship bound from London to Boston, loaded with military stores. The inventory by which I have the pleasure to enclose you, Cape Ann, is a very open harbor and accessible to large ships, which made me immediately send of Colonel Glover and Mr. Palfrey with the orders to raise the Minutemen and militia on that part of the country, to have the cargo landed without loss of time and guarded up by this camp. This, I hope, will be able to effect before it is known to the enemy that port she is carried into. I sincerely congratulate you on this very great acquisition, and am, sir, your most humble servant, General George Washington. And then there's a P.S. on this one, too. Evidently, George Washington likes to do P.S.s. That's postscript. Manley also has taken a sloop into the ministerial service, and Captain Adams, in the schooner Warren, has taken a schooner laden with potatoes and turnips bound for Boston, and carried her into Portsmouth. So, wow. Okay. So, that's America 250 stuff from the 26th, the 27th, the 28th, the 29th, and the 30th of November. Okay, how we're doing on time. So we're still at 23 minutes. And like I said earlier, don't forget, if you're just joining in and you have not already clicked the follow button for the JP8 report, please click the follow button, and then it's free. And then give us a like, please, okay? And leave us a comment. Always leave us a comment. All right, or leave me a comment. So on Wolford Go talking about the Dalmatian today. So there's a few headlines I want to discuss real quick. There's no slides for them at all. Okay, SecWar, as in the title. SecWar, Pete Hegseth gave the Navy, I believe the Navy Secretary, 2 weeks. I believe it is the 10th of December is the deadline for the inquiry on Senator Mark Kelly for actions on the video that was taken with the seditious six, who are also under FBI, not just investigation, but the FBI wants to talk to them and get the true intent on the video that they made the other day. All right, but Mark Kelly is a different person. He's a retired Navy captain, an 06, which in the Air Force, the Marine Corps, and the Army are all called colonels, right? the rank structure in the Army is different. In the Navy is different than the most other branches of the service. Um, so I saw earlier this morning. He put out a deal on X saying that he's going to continue to fight, and it's his right to make these videos and stuff. But sir, it's not your right to commit sedition and instill the seed of doubt in officers and NCOs, and in some instances, lower enlisted personnel in the military. Okay, so give it some time. The Article 32 hearing is going to be conducted. I believe it's Article 32. And they'll be determined if Senator Kelly needs to be brought back on active duty and court-martialed. So we'll see on that one. Fang Fang Bang Bang. To continue on with what I was just talking about, he says some troops have vowed to him that they will check Trump's orders. See, here we go with sowing the seeds of doubt. Now, he said he needs to be talked to also by the FBI. He said military soldiers have come to him and said they're going to check the orders that are coming out of the White House. That'll get people killed in combat. Here in Texas, we'll get to Texas in just a minute. Mayor Bowser in Washington, D.C., said last night that she will not run for re-election. And then the Department of Justice, Pam Bondi, supports the overturn of concealed carry permit law that's in Hawaii. That case is going before the Supreme Court. I don't know when that one is, but I just read that headline. Oregon teachers, they won a $650,000 lawsuit, or they will receive $650,000 from a lawsuit that they filed after they were fired for over gender policy comments, and it dealt with the First and 14th Amendments to the Constitution, and it was heard by the Ninth Court Circuit, U.S. Circuit of Appeals, all right, which is usually a liberal court, but they decided to decide with the plaintiffs because it interdicted their equal protection of the law and their First Amendment rights of freedom of speech. And then the Council for American Islamic Relations is suing my governor over his designation of CAIR as a foreign terrorist organization designation. They're going to lose anyway, so be it. We don't want them here in Texas anyway. So, and then the other thing I want to just talk about was something I was going to bring up yesterday, that there's this nonprofit thing that used to receive federal funding. It's called Feeding Our Future, and it funds autistic kids from Somalia. Evidently, there's a large percentage of kids allegedly that were diagnosed with autism that were from Somalia, and it's in Minnesota. They were fake diagnoses that were designated, but it was so that they could receive $17 million in federal funding to treat autism in these kids. All that money was being sent to Al-Shabaab in Somalia. That's right. In Somalia, they were receiving money, American taxpayer monies, to pay for their terroristic activities. 77 people were indicted for their actions. So hopefully, this is why the president he he lifted the designation of temporary protective status of any Somali going to Minnesota. So they can't immigrate over here anymore. All right. And I was going to read this whole article to you, but that seems to suffice to let people know that our tax dollars are being wasted. That's why stuff like USAID was terminated, because it was being funneled to other organizations that they didn't have the best interests of the American public and the American taxpayer at heart. Okay, so that's why we had to be good stewards. All right, and then let's see. Don't forget to click that follow button, and then also please click the follow and the like button. Man, I'm at a loss for words right now. I'm thinking about going picking up this food in just a few minutes. Oh, just one cool thing. Okay, I don't know if how many of y'all are that like to wear shirts like I do. Right here, the 9 line, right? And you're like, wow, that's cool. It's got a Black Hawk helicopter on it. What in the world is a 9 line? All right, so I'm going to give you a little bit of military history. The 9 line is something that all soldiers have to have memorized. It's part of your common task, right? And then what it is it's a brevity code that you can do over the radio, right? And it's got 9 lines on it. It's a medevac form. It's a medevac request. So, and it's 2 parts. There's a medevac request and a NBC contamination report. That's nuclear, biological, chemical contamination. So line 1 is the location. All right. So you use your grid coordinate. You give the location to the person you're talking to that's getting a helicopter or vehicle out to you. Okay. And then line 2 is your radio frequency, call sign, and suffix. I'm a Patriot 117. That'd be company name, call sign name, first platoon, and I'm the platoon sergeant because it's 7 designation, right? Line 3, number of patients by precedent. Yeah, Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, or Echo, right? Would you be urgent, priority, routine, litter, or worse, right? Line 4, special equipment needed. And then you indicate what you need, like a hoist, a ventilator, backboard, something like that. Line 5, line 5 is the number of patients by type. I have 3 people, category Alpha. I have two people, category Bravo, right? Line 6, security at pickup site. You have like November, which is no enemy troops. Papa, possible enemy troops. Echo, enemy troops, or X-ray, armed escort required, and it's to protect your vehicles or protect the inbound helicopters, right? Line 7, method of marking the pickup site, either with Alpha with panels, B pyrotetric, Charlie with smoke, which is usually the most popular, Delta is none, or E is other, which would be like bonfire or something like that, right? But most people pop smoke. And then line 8, patient nationality and status. You have Alpha, which is U.S. military, Bravo, U.S. civilian, Charlie is non-U.S. military, Delta is non-U.S. civilian, and then Echo is enemy prisoner of war. And then line 9 is the worst one. NBC contamination, nuclear, biological, or chemical. NBC. In peacetime, this line can describe the terrain. So usually if you're in combat, you don't want to go through line 9, but sometimes you might have to eventually one day. But yeah, so that's where the guy that founded the 9 line, he got the name of it from, is the 9 line medevac request that all soldiers have to be able to do through their common task training. And if you didn't know, every year, the common task, I don't know what they call them, a warrior task or something now. They have to go through different soldier skills, common tasks that helps them be better soldiers, right? All right, so it's only 35 minutes today. I've been going a little bit long lately, but just so it's like 12:30 right now, or 12:35. So I know a lot of people are getting on the road and stuff. Just be careful of what you're doing this weekend. We're just staying around here, like I said, having a Cracker Barrel Thanksgiving, spending time with my daughters and my son-in-law, which he knows about the 9-line because he's a helicopter mechanic in the Army. And then things that's going on this weekend is on Monday is my anniversary. And then on Monday also the Republican Party of Texas opens back up to accept nominations for people filing for office because they only have 1 week after next Monday. And then this Saturday, weather T dependent, right? That's another acronym. But mission, equipment, time, terrain, and then troops. They're calling for rain on Saturday, and that's the day we do wreaths for vets at Central Texas State Veterans Cemetery. Hopefully it holds off, and then we can get that done and decorate the gravestones out there for all the veterans and the people buried out there with them. And Lieutenant General retired Funk, he's the older General Funk, one from the 90s. He's going to be giving the keynote speech at Central Texas Veterans Cemetery before we go put all the wreaths out. So I hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving. Oh yeah, forgot, I got to give you my points of reference. Hold on just a second. Maybe. There we go. Come on, one more. You can do it. Nope, go up. There we go. All right. So before I let you go, you can find me on X at James Pierce Jr. And you can find me on Facebook at James A. Pierce Jr. YouTube. Remember I was telling you that earlier. Go to the JP8 Report 67 and subscribe to the JP8 Report. All right? And then, like I said, you can bail on it. We're just trying to get people to watch the JPA report from ScrewTube land out there. They need a little bit of good news also, right? And you can find me on Truth at James A. Pierce. And if you want to send me an email, the jp8report@gmail.com. All right. That being said, time to finish getting ready for Thanksgiving, right? I hope everybody has a great and very safe weekend. Be careful on the roads and in the airports, right? Stay alert, stay alert, stay alert. And if you drink, drink. If you drink, don't drive. And if you drive, don't drink, all right? It's the old safety briefing we used to give in the Army. There's more to it, but that's the most important part. Don't drink and drive, and don't drive and drink. All right. So this is James Pierce with the JPA Report. I will see y'all on my anniversary, December 1st, before I go out and hang out with my wife for a long time and have a great day. But until then, y'all have a great Thanksgiving weekend. And like I said, be safe. All right? So this is James Pierce with the JPA Report. I'll catch you on the flip side. I'm out.